Welcome to Water Cooler Conversations. How can a community resource help you? My name is Priscilla, and I am with the Office for Advocacy and Violence Prevention. Joining us today, of course, is Amanda from UTRGV's PD's Victim Services and Mr. Jaime Longoria from the Hidalgo County Community Services Agency. But before we begin and get a little bit more information from Jaime, just want to give a little quick disclaimer trigger warning to everybody attending today. Some of the content of the discussion could be troubling, especially for survivors of violence, victimization, harassment. Please feel free to leave if the discussion triggers an upsetting response. Please treat this session as a safe space and respect the boundaries of others, especially if their views or experiences are clearly troubling to them. And of course, our objectives for today, we want to gain an understanding of what services and programs this agency has to offer, recognize who can utilize these services, and of course, identify those campus community resources that are available to our students, staff, and faculty. And like I said, joining us today is Mr. Jaime Longoria, our Executive Director from the Hidalgo County Community Services Agency. Welcome, sir. If you'd like to introduce yourself a little bit more and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, Priscilla. Thank you so much for introducing me and for inviting me. As you mentioned, my name is Jaime Longoria. I'm the Executive Director of the Hidalgo County Community Services Agency. We're going to talk a little bit more about what we do on a day-to-day basis, but I'll tell you that part of my introduction is I work probably the best job I've ever had in my whole career, and that's being able to help the residents of Hidalgo County. We're a county department, and as I've introduced myself before, I've told people that our agency, unfortunately, is probably one of the best kept secrets in the whole county. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go forward. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for taking the time to joining us today. And yes, I do agree. Your agency has been one of the best kept secrets we have in Hidalgo County. So thank you for taking the time to join us today. Oh, my computer. There you go. So I'm going to hand it out over to Amanda so she can get started with our first little question of the day. So go for it, Amanda.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you again, Jaime. So we're going to jump right in because we know we have a lot of information to cover. So what is the purpose of the Hidalgo County Community Service Agency? What's your all's mission?
Yeah, thank you, Amanda.
Yes,
this question is really, I get to answer this question in a very broad sense, and we'll talk specifics in a little bit. Our mission is really, we address poverty in this county. We're the poverty fighting arm of county government. We in other areas, our work is accomplished through nonprofits. In Hidalgo County, we're part of county government, and really our mission is to address those vulnerable families, those vulnerable individuals who are struggling with poverty in one way or another. We can help people pay light bills. We can help people who are trying to get better job skills. We can do a variety of different things, but really it's to address the issues regarding poverty and to lessen the effects of poverty within our county. And we do that in a variety of different ways, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit.
Awesome. So you're helping the vulnerable citizens of our county. Now, how is your agency funded, and how do you prioritize who's going to be targeted?
Okay, so we're funded directly. The money comes directly from the federal government to the state as a pass-through grant. We're a little bit different than regular county government in that regular county government has local taxpayer dollars that they use. Our particular agency, the money comes from the Administration for Children and Families. It makes its way to the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. And really in normal times, pre-pandemic times, we have two normal regular pockets of money. Okay, one comes to us to assist families with utilities, and another is what I call our fun money, our money that we get to do some really creative kinds of things with. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. And I want to hold the audience at bay a little bit because it's really exciting kinds of stuff that we can do with it.
Nice.
Now,
so
we
then,
prioritize, I know you asked a second question.
No, go ahead. Yes, sir.
We do prioritize families, and we identify the issues associated with poverty through a really unique system. And that every 3 years, we go through a listening process with the community in Hidalgo County. We conduct a series of town hall meetings. We do some questionnaires with our own clients. We do questionnaires with people who we don't serve. We talk to some of our partner agencies like Catholic Charities and Salvation Army and the Red Cross. and really those agencies that work in the same communities that we do. And we ask them about what the needs are of the people that we're charged with serving. We put that all together in a report, and then we identify those particular target audiences, And to give you an example, previously we identified, for instance, DACA students, would be one group of residents that really have a hard time accessing services in our area. Another particular area are those students that age out of the foster care system. Another group are families that are struggling with recovering from disasters. Okay, so those are all areas that were identified through this process, and then we develop programs and services to address those particular needs.
That's some good stuff right there, because we work with that population. Now let's jump in and tell us about the main points about the programs that you do have to offer our campus community and just our community in general.
Well, most people are going to remember, we were founded as part of the war on poverty. So if you remember back to history, I'll take your students back to history. In the 1960s, LBJ's war on poverty, and there was this idea of trying to address poverty, not from the federal government standpoint, but at the local level. So our ancestors, really, our roots are in those programs that used to distribute the cheese. And most people remember that wonderful cheese, okay? The powdered milk, the butter, okay? People still ask me if we're still providing that butter that they used to give out back then. So that was our forerunners. So our particular agency now has evolved, and the services that we offer have evolved. So one of the services that people really know us for is our utility assistance program.
Right.
Or families that are struggling with their electric bill, their gas bill, particularly the elderly, okay, particularly the disabled, but nonetheless, just people who are struggling with poverty, they're having to decide whether to pay the utility bill or buy groceries, or the utility bill or buy that medication that we need. And we hear those stories of the elderly coming in the last 5 or 6 days of the month. They struggle with meals because they've had to pay their rent, or they had to pay their mortgage or their property tax, and they don't have enough money to pay their utility bill. So our LIHEAP program, the Low Income Housing and Energy Assistance Program, about $6 million that we receive to assist families to pay their utility bills, their light bill and their gas bill now. So most people know us. There's an application process people go through, and we'll talk a little bit about that specifically. And that's really the best known program. I consider that a Band-Aid. People are struggling with poverty, we're paying their bills, see you later. Well, the second pocket of money is our Cool Money program, okay? It's actually not called Cool Money, but I like to refer to it as Cool Money. It's our Community Services Block Grant program. This is a program that really helps us address the root causes of poverty. We do that in 2 ways. We spend that money in 2 ways. One is helping families deal with crises and emergencies. We've helped families that struggle with domestic abuse situations. We've helped families who are homeless. We've helped families in disasters like floods or fires, those kinds of things. Then the second branch of Community Services Block Grant, we're able to, and this is drum roll please, this is the exciting part. We help families address those particular issues, those barriers that are keeping them in poverty. We all know families that, for instance, they just need a better job skills, or they need to learn English to get promoted, or they need to have a particular certificate to be able to move up, or they need to finish their bachelor's degree, okay? Or they need to go to a vocational school and learn a trade. This Community Services Block Grant is designed to help those families afford those particular skills and remove those barriers. And the best way to tell you about that program is to give you some examples. Okay. I tell the story that we had a gentleman who walked into our office one day and was really struggling, was really frustrated, and I tell people he kind of looked like me, and was, and he just needed his light bill paid. He was in line to get his utility bill paid. So I walked out there and I said, what's going on? I heard you're very impatient. He says, look, I'm really struggling. He says, I just lost my job. My lights are about to be cut off. My family's about to be evicted from where we live. My car is broken down. He says, I need to get to a job interview. He says, I have a friend of mine who has said that he would hire me at an HEB possibly, and all I need to do is interview and get down there and talk to him, but I can't even make the interview because my car's broken down. Well, community services block grant, and that's what I said to him. I said, you're in the wrong line. You know, we need to talk to you about how we can help make you more self-sufficient. So we talked to him about, what do we remove the barrier of getting your car fixed? How about if we are able to pay your rent so you don't have to worry about that for a few months? How about if we help pay your utility bills to keep the lights on in your house? And by the way, we'll give you a little bit of money to put gas in your vehicle so you can drive back and forth until you get back up on your feet. And really the cool thing about this story was that's all this particular gentleman needed to be on his way. Okay.
Right.
The end of the story was that he was ready to transition out of poverty. He was ready to move on, but he just needed that extra push. Okay. So our community services block grant is designed to do that. All kinds of stories. You know, we have folks that are at the university that for whatever reason, their financial situation has changed, and they're thinking about dropping out of the university because they can't go forward anymore. The grant they were working on didn't cover all the expenses. So how do they transition? How do they get a better job without the degree? We're there to provide that assistance and that, that backstop, if you will, to kind of help families move forward. One other cool story, we had a young lady who was in the Sheriff's Academy and was studying to be a sheriff's deputy. And this story was on Channel 4. You can actually look this up on valleycentral.com. Okay. She was down to her last $800 and she heard about our program. She was thinking about dropping out of the academy because she couldn't make it. Her name is Sarai, is her first name. And I can use that publicly because she was actually on TV and she talked about this. And she thought about it. She thought about, I got to quit now. She was almost there. Well, we provided assistance for her and we helped pay her registration and continued to support her through that process. One day I'm sitting at my desk in my office and one of our caseworkers comes in and said, sir, there's somebody here to see you. And initially it kind of scared me because this young lady walks in, she's wearing the deputy's hat,
Her
she's
whole
wearing the Hidalgo County Sheriff's
uniform.
uniform, and I thought, oh no, every director's nightmare. And all of a sudden she extended her hand. She says, I just came in to say thank you. She says, this program changed my life and changed the trajectory of my life. So it was a really cool story Sarai is very grateful to the program because we're able to provide assistance to help push her out of poverty and moving her forward. Those are our two big, our funding sources. That's why they fund us, to do these kinds of programs. So we receive $6 million in one pocket, about $1.5 million in the other pocket to do those kinds of things.
Wow.
We've got plenty of other programs we can talk about, and I'm sure that you're going to ask me more questions. So here we go.
You also assist veterans, correct?
Absolutely. So we have a program, it's called Bravo Zulu. Okay. And in military jargon, Bravo Zulu is a program that's, the words actually mean job well done. This is designed for veterans who were honorably discharged, who are struggling. They're at 200% of federal poverty. So listen to this. Okay. We'll talk about this in just a minute. So a family of 4, to qualify for Bravo Zulu, they'd be making less than $55,500 to qualify. And we assist them with up to $600 in utility assistance. Okay. And what that is we can help with utilities, we can help with rent, we can help with mortgage. Really, we're asking veterans to come in. Okay. And we provide that assistance. Now, the cool thing about this program is we recognize in this agency that there's a problem among veterans with veteran suicide. And one of the things that we figured out, and we looked at the numbers, we realized that a large number of veterans commit suicide on a daily basis in this country. A real disgrace. Really heartbreaking to hear those stories. So what we did was we designed this program so that veterans come in and apply, and they can apply virtually, okay? But they come in and they talk to us, and the very first question we ask them is, are you connected to the VA? Do you have communication with the VA? And if the answer is no, then we work very diligently to get them connected. The reason we get them connected is, and that's our #1 priority with this program, we get them connected because the VA is the mothership for all veterans in the United States. They have the resources to assist veterans who are struggling in other areas, including mental health. So we want to make sure that they have that connection first and foremost. So really, the $600 is a cool thing, but it's a way to get veterans in the door, talk to them, and find out what are they dealing with on a daily basis, so we can bring that number down to zero. So that no veteran in this country has to, take their life to escape, the pain that they're suffering.
Wow.
So that's our veterans program. I talked about income guidelines, and I'll back up a little bit.
Okay.
So our programs are income based. Those two programs I talked about for utility assistance, that same family of four would qualify if they earn less than $41,625. And for families, that program that I talked about, that we can pay tuition, we can pay registration fees, books, those kinds of things. That same family would qualify if they make $34,688. Okay. The important thing is apply for our services.
So I want you to tell us how anybody would apply, because I know things are different because of the pandemic, whether it's in person, virtual, phones. How does one do it?
Yeah, probably the easiest way. Most people would apply. So people can contact us online. They can fill out an application online. They can also, and we'll talk about that. They can also call us, and we'll mail them an application, a paper application.
Okay.
And they can send that back to us via regular mail. But let's talk about the online platform.
Okay.
People can go to hidalgocsa.org and they can apply online. There's an application, and the very first place they're going to land is a rent button. Okay. I'll tell you a little bit about our rental program. We have about $26 million to assist families to be able to pay their rent during these days of the pandemic. People have fallen behind. So very similar process. They would go online, they would go to hidalgocsa.org, they would click on the button that says rental assistance, and the application is kind of self-explanatory, English and Spanish. Okay. But let's say they're interested in these other programs that we just talked about. They would scroll down to where it says family support or utility assistance, click on that button, and it actually takes them to an application. Now, generally speaking, we're going to ask for an ID. We're going to ask for income information. We may ask for a birth certificate. Okay. And if you're asking for utility assistance, we're going to ask for a copy of your utility bill. Obviously, if you're asking for rental assistance, we're going to ask for your rental agreement. If you're asking for some kind of mortgage relief, I just talked to someone earlier today that was being foreclosed upon, and we can help in matters of a crisis. Foreclosure is a crisis. Then we're going to ask for that mortgage statement. Okay. So really, as you apply, we try to make it as standard as we can. And, we're not trying to torture people, but these are federal funds. And we have to really, follow an application process. What I want to reiterate is there is assistance available. What we urge people to do is to come out and apply. And I tell people all the time, and students in particular, what's the worst thing that can happen? You get a letter saying you don't qualify, but the fact of the matter is many folks do qualify. We've had students that have applied to us because we had one student several years back who didn't know what she was going to do because her parents and her kind of had a falling out, and her parents were helping her get through school and pay some of the bills. And she said, now a big chunk of my support is gone. And what am I going to do to afford university? As a matter of fact, she was in her last year. Wow. And she said she was ready to graduate. And she says, I can't make this last year. By the way, she's in law school now. Okay. She went on to go to law school. Okay. Again, just that student that needed that little push, just that little
extra help.
Absolutely.
Right. Wow.
I tell people all the time that the quickest way into poverty is to be a single mom. And we all know single moms or single parents that struggle on a day-to-day basis. How am I going to improve my situation? Those are the people that need to come in and talk to us. Okay. So, we'll ask for those documents as you apply for services, and we'll have a back and forth conversation about what the needs are. And then you would receive a qualification letter, and we'll be able to assist families. Okay. For utility assistance, we can help up to $1,400 in some cases for families. And in some cases, that's 8 or 10 months of utility assistance where we can pick up utility bills for that
Oh,
kind of
that's
help.
great. That's good. So let's just say somebody doesn't have access to the internet or computer, or they're challenged technically, like Amanda here. It's
Okay.
easier for me to speak to a human. I want to take somebody. I don't want to do through text or anything like that. They can call your office. You can mail them something, and then they can fill it out and return it. Correct?
Right. So we would ask them,
Okay.
so call our office at 383-6240. The number's on the
Right
screen.
there on the screen. Awesome.
And ask Sandy. Sandy, chances are Sandy's going to answer the phone and ask Sandy to mail you an application. You can either mail it back or you can come by our office and drop it by. That's our address, 2524 North Klausner. What I do ask is that people pay particular attention to the requirements that are listed on the website or on the front of the paper application. Okay.
Okay. So just pay attention to everything to be sure everything's filled out so that you don't get rejected because of one little maybe slip up, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
During the pandemic, we received thousands of applications. Many of them were lacking one form of documentation or the other. And people get discouraged. They think that we're looking for reasons to deny them, and absolutely not. I want to take this opportunity to say we want to help families. We want this money to move out into the community, but we do have federal guidelines that require certain things in their file. So if it asks for a driver's license and a birth certificate, include those documents. If it asks for a utility bill, include that document. By the way, most utility bills have 3 pages at least. Include all 3 pages. Okay.
The more the better.
Absolutely.
The more info. Perfect.
Yeah. Let us sort through that.
Now, Jaime, what about, I'm going to do a joint little talking point here. What about people who are not US citizens? And what if somebody has a criminal record? Are you still able to assist them?
Okay. So for families who lack documentation, lack the legal status, we do have programs that are able to assist.
Okay.
What I tell people all the time is we assist families who live in Hidalgo County. Okay. The best advice I can give them, the number one thing I'll tell them is that we don't report to immigration one way or another. So there's no public charge burden here. Okay. So there's no fear that it would affect their legal status or their application status down the road. I tell families, apply for us. If there's a need and you're struggling with poverty, you can't make ends meet, apply with us. Okay. On your other question regarding a criminal record, that's exactly the same scenario. Is we're not going to ask for a background check on families when they come in here. We assist people who live in Hidalgo County. Tell you a quick story. We had a young man who was in our office, in our lobby. He looked the part of someone that just got released from jail, and that's all I want to leave it at that. And was really verbally very animated. Okay, let's leave it.
Oh dear.
And
I like that.
Animated. So I went out to talk to him, and I said, "What's going on?" And he says, "I'm really frustrated." He says, "I just got out of the criminal justice system, and I need a job." He says, "I'm ready to reoffend because people won't hire me." And I said to him, so what do you want to do? And he says, "I want to be a barber. That's what I used to do. That's what I did when I was in prison." And I said, "Okay." And he says, that's what I want to do. The cool thing is we use that cool money and we paid for some of his tuition to go to barber school. And now he owns his own barber shop. And he tells us that the very people that used to chase him around, the school people and the police officers that used to chase him around when he was doing bad things, are now his customers. And that's, sometimes just people need that second chance. People need that little push. People need somebody to take a chance on them to be able to do something good. So he's one of our success stories. He's one of the people we talk about an awful lot. So, come out and apply. I encourage people to come out and give us an opportunity to help.
Now, I know, Jaime, we're going to need to start wrapping up in a little bit, but so you're helping everybody that you can, right, that knows about it in Hidalgo County. What about Cameron County or any other counties in Texas that you know of? And if we go over a little bit, everybody here, just here today on our water cooler, you feel free to stick around just in case.
We do have sister agencies. The cool thing about our program is we have an agency just like ours in every county in the United States. Okay.
Okay.
One of my conferences was in Puerto Rico, and we have a sister agency in Puerto Rico. So we do have a sister agency in every county. In Cameron and Willacy counties, it's Cameron Willacy County Projects Incorporated, and they'd be able to assist families who are in Cameron and Willacy County. For families in Stark County, it's a program out of Webb County. It's the county of Webb that administers the monies and the programs in Webb County. While the nuances of the programs might be a little bit different here and there, the actual overall funding stream is the same, and they have the same abilities that we do to respond to the needs of their community as we do.
Wonderful.
So if you've got any doubt whatsoever, the best thing to do is call 211.
Okay.
Okay. Call 211 and ask the 211 operator to put you in touch with the community action agency for that particular county. And that would be able to give them that assistance.
Awesome. Now, I was going to ask you where y'all are located here in Edinburgh, but it has it there, 2524 North Klausner Boulevard. Can people just show up to your office randomly, or do they need an appointment?
Now, we
If they have
are limiting the
questions?
number of people who come in.
Okay.
Once again, we're the best kept secret. After the pandemic, we were slow to reopen because of the nature of the work that we do. We didn't want 200 or 300 people standing in line to see us. We are really busy. Okay. The good
Right.
news is we're open to the public, and people come in and ask us questions. We limit 35. I think it's 35 people in our lobby at one time to respect
be
that
safe.
social distance. But nonetheless, we're able to answer questions and assist families.
That's so good. There was so much information that I know that it's important for all of us to be aware of. If at any point anybody that's here today wants a presentation, I know you do those as well, right? Because I've seen it in different coalitions and so forth. So you're available for that, correct? Whether it's on campus or in the community?
Absolutely. We can do it virtually.
Wonderful.
We can do it in person. Probably the best thing about my job is I get to talk about all the cool things that we do. So I want to share that information to people, the services that we have to offer and how they can get the assistance they require. So
Yes,
I'll
and
be
there's
glad
so
to
much
do
that you're all able to do. Wow. Yes. Now, are there any parting words you'd like to say to everybody watching today?
Well, we do have programs to assist families with utilities. We can help with rent. We also have some contacts with a mortgage and get a load of this. There's even a program to help people who have fallen behind on their property tax. That's
Okay.
not our program, but I call ourselves the padrinos of that program because we're spreading the word on that program.
Okay.
So call our office. Sandy's got information on how we can provide that assistance. We're getting ready to receive some funding to help families with water bills. So we can help with tuition. We can help with books and fees. We can help with, we've helped people get a welding certificate. We've helped cosmetologists.
It's a broad
just
range.
really a variety of different professions. We can help with rent, mortgage, now getting ready to do water. There's really a lot of financial assistance available. And by the way, again, every CAP agency, every community action agency has these same abilities to be able to assist families. So the money's out there, the funds are out there. Give us a call. I'll tell you that our phone line is busy. Don't get discouraged. I promise you, we are answering our phones. There's 5 Sandys answering the phones, 5 people just like Sandy answering the phones. But if it's busy, just stay after us and we'll give you a call. Okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's our website, and you can certainly contact us, via the application process as well.
Oh my God, that was just such a great amount of information that I'm hoping that anybody here today is able to utilize it or pass it along, pass around the information. Jaime, thank you so much for informing us. Priscilla, is there anything you'd like to say?
No, just great. Lots of information. Lots of just wonderful work that you're doing in our community. And yes, me and Amanda give everybody your information, and I also will call you personally and be like, Jaime, I need help with my students. So I know in the past, you all have helped our students out in tremendous ways. So thank you for doing that. And thank you for taking your time to joining us today. I also just did want to add our university resources on here. If you are needing any resources on our campus, please reach out to us, let us know. We just like how Jaime said, you can call me and Amanda. We're the 2-in-1 of the university. So you can call us and we'll let you know how to connect you to all these different resources. And thank you for attending our water cooler conversations today. I hope you all have a great afternoon, and please share the Hidalgo County Community Services Agency information to anybody who you think might need assistance or have questions about getting assistance in our community.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody, and
Thank you.
goodbye.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.